In 1947, a U.S. Navy admiral led a top-secret military operation to the South Pole. It involved warships, aircraft carriers, thousands of soldiers, and ended abruptly under mysterious circumstances. Official records say it was a training mission, but leaked diaries, radio silence, and whispers from the intelligence community suggest otherwise. So what really happened in Antarctica? Why is it now one of the most restricted places on Earth? And what is the government hiding beneath the ice? Welcome to Midnight Raven, the show where curiosity meets the uncanny, and where the shadows always whisper back. We dive deep into the strange, the unexplained, and the what-ifs that keep you up at night. Aliens, conspiracies, ancient horrors, and timelines that never should have crossed. Watch closely, because not everything hiding in the dark stays there. Antarctica, a continent larger than Europe, yet 99% of us know nothing about it, and we're not supposed to. Because if the stories are true, Antarctica isn't just a frozen wasteland. It's a vault, and whatever's inside wasn't meant to be found. Let's start with what we do know. Antarctica is off-limits to normal exploration. You can't just book a flight and wander around. In fact, the entire continent is governed by a bizarre international agreement known as the Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959 during the height of the Cold War. The treaty bans military activity. It prohibits resource extraction, and it enforces strict rules about who can go where and what they're allowed to do. Which begs the question, why? No other place on Earth, not the Amazon, not the Arctic, not the Moon, has this kind of global lockdown. That alone should raise eyebrows. Now let's rewind to 1946. The U.S. Navy launches one of the largest Antarctic missions in history, Operation Highjump. Led by famed polar explorer Admiral Richard E. Byrd, it involved 13 ships, 4,700 men, helicopters, and even a fully loaded aircraft carrier. Officially, a training exercise. Unofficially, a rapid mobilization against a potential threat. Then, just months later, the operation was abruptly terminated. No official reason. But Admiral Byrd, in a rare interview with a Chilean newspaper, warned that the U.S. might have to prepare to defend itself from aircraft that could fly pole to pole at incredible speed. What did he mean by that? And why was his journal from the expedition sealed from the public? Satellite imagery over the years has revealed strange shapes buried beneath the Antarctic ice. Massive, symmetrical structures that resemble pyramids. Some as tall as the Great Pyramid of Giza. Natural formations? Maybe. But if they're man-made, that rewrites everything we know about human history. Even more strange, there are strict no-fly zones over certain coordinates in Antarctica, including areas where these pyramid-like structures are located. Planes that have strayed into these zones have reported electromagnetic interference, or worse. And then there's the Peary Race Map, drawn in 1513, centuries before Antarctica was supposedly discovered. It depicts Antarctica without ice. How could ancient sailors have known that? Unless someone else showed them. In 2012, Russian scientists drilled into Lake Vostok, a freshwater lake buried 2 miles beneath the ice. It had been sealed off for millions of years. When they broke through, radio silence. Then, they resurfaced with only vague statements and samples. One scientist reportedly disappeared. Another claimed they found organisms unlike any seen before. And then, silence. NASA and DARPA have since expressed interest in studying Antarctica as a Mars analog, training for conditions on alien planets. But could it be the other way around? Of course, skeptics have their say. They argue the pyramid shapes are just nunataks, mountains poking through glacial sheets. Admiral Byrd's journal, a likely forgery written decades later, and the Peary Race Map could have been copied from earlier maps with guesses. So maybe there's no conspiracy. Maybe Antarctica is just a really cold desert. But then again, no other desert on Earth requires a treaty signed by 50 countries. No other continent bans military presence while housing possible alien pyramids. No other place has so many questions and so few answers. So the question stands, what are they hiding beneath the ice? And why now? The deeper they pushed inland, the stranger things became. Static disrupted radio signals. Compass needles spun violently, and then the disappearances began. First, it was Private Harris. One moment he was surveying a ridge, the next, gone. No tracks, no blood, just his rifle, half buried in the snow. Then a second man, then a third. all vanished during whiteout conditions, and those who remained started hearing things, clicking sounds, rhythmic tapping on the ice, like claws. Admiral Byrd wrote in his personal log, entries never meant for public eyes, that they were being watched, not by men, but by something strange. Sergeant Miller was on night watch when he saw it, a figure moving across the frozen plain, fast, too fast for a man, too big for a wolf. He aimed his flashlight. What he saw doesn't match any known species. 30-foot spider, white as snow. Its body shimmered like frost. Hair-thin legs moved with unnatural precision. It made no sound, no growl, just that clicking. Its fangs were needle-like, but its real weapon was its claws, sharp enough to split flesh without spilling blood. Because what it cut froze instantly. On January 5th, 1947, an entire platoon was wiped out. Only one man survived. Corporal Evans. His hands were frostbitten, his eyes were bloodshot and wide. He claimed the creature attacked from beneath, bursting through the ice like it sensed their body heat from below. His words were chilling.
It moved like smoke on glass. Cut them all, no screams, just silence and snow.
Evans died 48 hours later. Hypothermia, they said. But in his final moments, he whispered one phrase over and over.
White Death! The White Death is watching!
Now, skeptics claim this is all fiction. There's no record of a strider species, no photos, no remains. They say it's Cold War paranoia, or a case of men cracking under pressure. But if it's just paranoia, why seal military logs for 75 years? Why scrub thermal maps of those coordinates? And why did every survivor describe the same thing, a white spider that froze what it touched? Antarctica is a graveyard of secrets. Maybe that's why no one's allowed to dig too deep. Because if the White Death is still down there, we were never supposed to find it. Are so many people trying to find out? In Part 2, we'll explore the evidence of alien life, the creatures said to live in the darkness, and the theories that claim Antarctica isn't just hiding history, it's hiding something alive. If you're ready for what lies beneath, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't miss Part 2 of our Antarctica series. Until then, stay curious and stay cautious.